Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Elite Smart Athletes Lab Rat series, where I test out different workouts on myself so that you know where to best invest your money and your time on your journey to unlocking your inner athlete. Today it is finally the big review that you guys have been asking for pretty much for all of 2021, the speed code. I finally finished it. I completed the whole program, all 5 phases. So I'm going to go into it in depth now, so that you know whether you want to get on it or not. Now, if you've not been keeping up with this channel, or if you're completely new to the channel, obviously subscribe, you need to do that. But I have been putting out training vlogs from each phase on this program. I've got a vlog from phase 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So make sure you go and check them out on the channel if you want to see a bit more in depth about the actual workouts themselves. This is going to be more of an overall review where I go through each individual category that I use to review programs, starting off with the value of the program. Then we'll go on to look at the user interfaces, the coaching that you receive, the workout programming itself, and that's more in terms of the exercises, and the potential for progress, because obviously you don't want to buy a program if you don't know that you're going to make some gains. So let's start off with the first category, the value of the program. The speed code currently costs $119.95, and that is listed as an early bird special price. So it could potentially raise up to $240, although I personally think that's just a marketing tactic to get people to buy the program. However, I was lucky enough to actually get it over the summer when PJF was doing a summer sale where he offered 25% off all of his programs. So I ended up getting it for around $89.95. Now, for this price, you get access to the program and its workouts itself, both whether it's on the website or the app, which I'll get into later. And he also has additional resources available. And these additional resources, considering this is my 3rd PJF program I've done now, these resources do kind of tend to be the same across each program, but some of the old resources on this program include his explosive athlete mentality guide, a foot training protocol, a recovery protocol, and nutritional guidelines. So all of these were on the Vert code. The nutritional guidelines were new to Fat Don't Fly, and you now get these with the speed code as well. Now, the new resources that are specific to the speed code are the Healthy Human Guide. There's a step length guide for one of the drills, which is called Wickets, which again, if you go into the training vlogs, go into the phase 2 vlog, you'll see exactly what Wickets are. And there's a speed mechanics session that you do with Les Spellman, who is also one of the trainers that Paul Fabritz has collaborated with to create this program. And there's also a live speed development session, again, with Les Spellman. So in my opinion, I think that having these speed-specific resources are essential, and they should be mandatory in any speed program, to be honest. So it's great that you have access to these. And although it is a bit pricey, speed training is so specific and dependent on what phase of your training you're in, whether you're in the season, not in season, rehabbing, etc. And there's so many injuries that can come along with it. Having these additional resources to make sure that you are essentially guided every step of the way is fantastic. So although it is a costly price, I think you are getting some sort of value for your money. And so I would rate the overall value of this program at a 7 out of 10. And if you find this video useful, or you're just generally enjoying the video, then make sure you hit that subscribe button, because the energy that it could take for you to lift up one finger, click subscribe, that might just get you some muscle gains and burn you some calories. So you should really be saying thank you to me. And if you're looking for extra content from me on the Elite Smart Athletes movement, then go follow up on Instagram and TikTok, because I'm active on there. I'm always constantly posting on there, and you can reach out to me. Just send me a DM and I'll always get back to you. So let's go on to the next category, which is the user interfaces. And by that, I mean the way that you're able to actually access the program. So this program is available both on the PJFPerformance website and app. You can use the same profile that you created for previous programs for jumping onto a new program as well. There's an introductory video which explains how to navigate all of the user interfaces he has, so the website and the app. There are rest timers available on the app when you're going through workouts, which is quite handy because it means you don't have to switch between your clock app on your phone and then the actual workout app itself. You're able to actually adjust the exercise settings. So let's say you think you want to do a particular exercise before something else because maybe, I don't know, the machine in the gym is closer to the previous exercise you were doing. Then you can actually edit that on the app so that it now does a new layout for you. So all the workouts are quite customizable and individual, and I will go into this later on in this review, but this program specifically is one that you do need to think about how you organize it yourself. You get email reminders when you are due to do a workout or if you've missed a workout. You can check out your workout history just to see if you are improving with a particular exercise or not, as long as you are actually logging it within the app. However, some of the issues that I have had with the app, particularly in the past, maybe not so much with the laptop, but I'm not really going to carry my laptop around whilst I'm working out, especially a speed program, which I'm doing outdoors most of the time. But some of the issues I've had have been the timers. Even though the timers are there and it is a very useful feature, when they go off, sometimes it pauses my music, which means I have to go off of the workout app, of the PJF app, go replay my music. But then when I go back to the PJF app, it's like pause the whole workout. Like it's gone off the workout, so I have to re-enter it, which adds time to the workout. Someone did comment before on an old program saying that had been fixed, but I did experience it again on the speed code, so I'm not sure if that's been fully sorted out yet. And I've also had certain issues when trying to log things, when trying to just log a whole workout in general. Like sometimes on the calendar, it will just double up the workout, or just when I'm trying to log a particular exercise. Just sometimes the settings are weird. Like it might be an exercise where it's saying do 2 reps of 20-yard sprints, for example, and the way that it lays it out perhaps it will show like it in meters or inches or something that's like not quite handy for what you're trying to do. The units might not be right, the reps might not be right. It might say, it can be sometimes just confusing to understand how many reps you're trying to do just because of the layout of the app. So those are some of the issues I've had there. But overall, I do still think that it's quite handy having his own app to be able to log the workouts whilst you're on the go. And obviously you have the website option as well, so you can use both. So overall, I would rate his user interfaces as a 9 out of 10. So now let's look at PJFPerformance's coaching. So obviously, as with the other programs I've done in the past, it is still Paul Fabritz who is coaching. Plus, he's added Les Spellman because they collaborated together for this program. And both of them do coach really well in this. So the way that you receive the coaching is usually through pre-recorded videos that are usually under 3 minutes. And he doesn't really use too much sports science jargon, but he uses enough whereby if you don't know it, then you're probably learning. And if you do know it, then you know exactly what he's talking about, and you can actually understand more what it is you're trying to get out of each exercise. For each day of workouts, there is actually a daily overview video, which is something that he started to do from Fat Don't Fly. That wasn't necessarily in the Vert code Bodyweight at least, but it might be in the Vert code Elite. And that's really helpful just to make sure you know exactly what you're trying to achieve each day. And he has it written out before each workout too, which is great. And of course, as I've said, there's no individualized coaching that you receive because it is pre-recorded videos, but because they are so extensive, you might not actually need that individualized coaching, but that is just something that is worth noting. So something new that PJF added into this program was audio guidance, which was essentially where drills required you to have a partner that would give you cues. He actually recorded audio cues that you could listen to whilst doing the workout. And I thought that was I almost want to say revolutionary, because I haven't really heard much about coaches doing that, especially when you want to work on your reaction speed. And that really gave you that feel like you were actually working out with him. So even though it was pre-recorded, and I guess the more you do it, the more you start to remember the patterns that he's gonna give out, or the order of the cues. But it's still useful to have, because you do feel like you're in the room with a coach, someone helping you, and you still have to react to it nonetheless. You can't cheat it. So that was something that was really good. And an additional thing about that was that the music in these audio guidance was lit. Like it was, I don't know why, I don't know what beat it was. I really want to find the beat and use it maybe in some of my videos, but the beat that he uses in the audio guidance specifically was lit.
Right, flip, right, left, right, rest.
If you've been on the speed code and you've done this stuff and you've heard it, let me know if I'm being crazy, but I thought that the music was great. It was fire, man. There's only a few negatives that I have to this audio guidance, which was that, one, I don't think he used it enough, to be honest. I felt like there were a few drills where he could have implemented it that he didn't. And sometimes with some of the drills, the cues were maybe a bit too fast, but you didn't actually have time to genuinely react to what he was saying. So perhaps he could have slowed it down a little bit. But again, I think that just having this feature was just so useful that I can't really rate his coaching anything less than a 10 out of 10. Now let's look at the workout program itself. And again, if you want to know more about the actual drills and exercises, check out the previous training vlogs that I have put on the channel. So looking at the workout program itself, it is a 5-phase program over 12 weeks. So the first 3 phases are 2 weeks each, which gets you up to 6 weeks. Phase 4 and phase 5 are both 3 weeks each, which gets do another 6 weeks. So that's your 12 weeks of the program. It's 6 days of training a week. Now on each day, you're pretty much in each phase, besides phase 1 where it was slightly different, but for the majority of the program, you have 3 days of speed work where it's one of the days is acceleration, one of them is agility, and one of them is max velocity. And then the other 3 days of training, you're doing core and mobility work. In phase 1, it was basically just speed workout 1, speed workout 2, and then speed workout 1 again. So you kind of mixed it all. But from phase 2 onwards, then you're getting into that format where it's agility, max velocity, acceleration. If you want to know more about that, check the training vlogs. I keep saying that. That's why I did the training vlog, so that I don't need to go into it too much in depth in this review. And each of the phases has their own name, which I thought that was quite cool. That was a bit different to some of the other programs. So phase 1 is called Healthy Human Foundations, which was again 2 weeks, and it was mainly focused on speed mechanics. And in terms of the strength aspect of stuff, you are doing a lot of isometric stuff in there. And I should add that each phase has its speed elements and its strength elements in there as well. So in this phase 1, you didn't actually do any sprints. It was mainly just focusing on the technique within speed. And there weren't any plyometrics in this phase either. So it was just more about building a bit more relative strength first. Phase 2, which was called Freak Athlete Foundations. Now, again, the mechanics is still there. And I'll just say now that all the mechanics drills, they go all the way from week 1, day 1, through to the final day of week 12 of the program. So you're always consistently working on your mechanics, but in this phase, the mechanics were more loaded. So you're starting to add weight to it, or resistance at least, so that you can work in different positions and working with different amounts of forces. And also, again, the strength work, still mainly isometric, but now adding load to these isometric movements as well. And in this phase 2, you did also start to add some agility and shorter sprint progressions in there. Now, phase 3 was called Explosive Athlete Development. And again, another 2 weeks, kind of similar to phase 2, but PJF specifically on his website, before you buy the program, you can actually see, he says that there are significant improvements expected by this phase. That was something that he has marketed out to us. And I will show you in the next category whether that proved true for me or not. Now in this phase, this is where the actual sprinting reps started to increase. You're starting to now add some more strength work in there, where you're doing some slight lifts, not super heavy weights, but you are actually lifting with a bit of weight now. And you're doing a bit more plyometrics, but more at an extensive level. So low level, sub-maximal plyometrics. You're not really trying to get too high just yet. Now, phase 4 and phase 5. Phase 4 is called Cheetah Mode, and phase 5 is called Bright Light. They are both the phases where you start now to get into these really fast sprints, longer distances, but the strength work now starts to actually reduce, but the plyometric work starts to increase a little bit. So you're trying to now work at higher speeds and be more elastic so that you can be more explosive generally when you're getting into these sprints. The only difference between phase 4 and 5 really was that the mechanics load started to drop a little bit, and by phase 5 you're actually doing less reps of longer sprints and less time of actual extensive plyometrics. Now for phases 1 to 4, when I was personally going through the program, I used to split up the speed work, so anything that required a bit of space to get stuff done. I used to do that in the morning as speed drills, and then on the same day I would try and do the strength portion of the workout in the evening. So that would be maybe the extensive plyometric or any sort of lifts that required some weight. In phase 5, however, I didn't actually need to split it up into that morning and evening, because all that strength work, he kind of taken it out. So in phase 5, I was actually able to do all the workouts in one go in the morning. Now, when it came to the workout program itself, again, check the training vlogs, but generally I think it was pretty good. I personally did everything just for the testing purposes of this video, I guess, just so I could give you a proper review of the whole program. But PJFPerformance did specifically say that this program is just a blueprint. So you have to be able to figure out which drills are good for you, which drills are not. Perhaps you can integrate it into your other trainings. If you do have to split up the sessions, I do 3 or 4 sessions a day, he always recommends doing the speed stuff first thing in the day. You don't want to do the speed work fatigued, which was why I always did my speed work in the morning and then did my strength work in the evening. Overall, when it comes to the workout program itself, I did think it was very good. And considering he did say that it's meant to be a blueprint, and I actually did everything, I think it was feasible to do, especially if you're in the off season. If you're in the off season, I think you can do this program as is listed. But if you're in the season, I mean, I personally wouldn't do it if I was in the season, but if you are in the season, then I would definitely take some stuff out, and perhaps I would leave some of the days out entirely. So overall, I would rate the workout program at an 8 out of 10. Now, the final and probably most important category is the potential for progress. So at the beginning of the speed code, I'm just going to look at my laptop. I mean, I think I've already done that throughout this video anyway. But at the beginning of the speed code, I decided to test my 3/4 court sprint. Why? Because I'm a basketball player and that is the speed test that they use in the NBA Combine. Is it the most valid test of speed? No, because in basketball you have a ball in your hands. But hey, it's just a test that I can use to compare. So before I started the speed code, my 3/4 court sprint time, and I always did my test as a best of 3 and then choose the quickest of the 3. The quickest of my 3 was a 4.38 second 3/4 court sprint time. 3/4 court of the sprint is 75 feet, which was roughly maybe about 25 yards. Not great really, but yeah, that was just the time I came out with. At the end of phase 1, that had dropped to a 4.25. By end of phase 2, it was 4.24. By the end of phase 3, it was a 4.14. End of phase 4, I'd actually gone back up or gotten slower. It was a 4.18. But then at the end of phase 5, when I completed the whole program, it was a 3.93. So I managed to shave a total of around 0.4 seconds off, which, you know, given 12 weeks, it's quite a lot. And I also wanted to test out, you know, whether it was actually affecting my body composition, whether that was actually what was getting me quicker or not. And looking at the program, I mean, I guess judging by my diet as well, my body, I only lost about 2 kg throughout the whole program, and my body fat only went down about 2%. So it wasn't just that I was getting lighter to the point where I was running quicker. I personally think it was just that I was able to put more force in the ground because of, I believe it was the technique work that was getting me quicker. So obviously, you know, that's the most important category, and for that, you know, basically the speed code will get you faster. And again, watch the phase 5 training vlog and you can see that, yeah, I got faster. But that's not all this program was designed for. PJF did state that, you know, you're meant to just become a better overall athlete. So your agility, your vertical, these are all things that are supposed to increase. Particularly, he did say your single leg vertical jump, because there is a lot of single leg work in there. A lot of the speed work is, you know, working on how 1 foot strikes the ground. You're not really doing a lot of 2 foot. You don't run with 2 feet on the ground. So I did test those out as well. The agility, I didn't start testing till phase 3, so forgive me for that, just because it didn't come to my mind. Now, from phase 3, my agility, it was at 2.34 seconds, and that means nothing if I'm not telling you what the test was. So I was doing a 5+5 agility test. So you start point, you run 5 yards, and then you run back, and you just time how long it takes you to go to the 5-yard line and come back. So it took me 2.34 seconds. Phase 4, that actually got slower, and it was at 2.41 seconds. And then phase 5, it was at 2.4 seconds. So did agility change too much? I don't think so. But I also think that was kind of more factors to do with the ground, because in my phase 4 test, like, I did know I was slipping a lot when I reached that 5-yard line, whereas in the phase 3 and phase 5 test, I wasn't. So, you know, I still think that this program could definitely increase agility, especially given the audio guidance that I've said was previously in this thing. Now, when it came to vertical jump, that was a bit more interesting to test. And again, if you've watched the phase 5 vlog, you already know that. Those phase 5 tests were not great. So I'm just going to include my results from phase 1 to 4. Essentially, the difference from phase 1 to phase 4 was not much, to be honest. Like, it looked like my 2 foot vertical anyway stayed the same. My single leg vertical also pretty much stayed the same the whole time. Now, was that due to the program? I don't think so. If you've been on this channel for a long time, yes, I've spoken about my knees not being in the best condition. I've had patellar tendinopathy for a while. I am treating it, so don't worry, because I know a lot of you guys, I appreciate your advice and I appreciate you guys trying to help me, but don't worry, I'm working on it, and it has been getting better. So, and that's something that, you know, subscribe up, because I'm going to be taking you along that journey. It's going to be crazy. That was probably more to do with my knees, and because of the way my knees are, like, on any given day, like one day they could be great, another day could not be so great. So my vertical tests sometimes aren't always the most consistent, especially given I was trying to get this whole program done. So I still think that the vertical probably could have increased. There's still potential for that. So don't take these results as you might not get that vertical, especially on the single leg. I think you can still get those gains, and I don't think PJF was lying. especially given the drills that he's included in there. Some of them were even on the vert code. So that, yeah, you should see that progress there. So my agility got slightly slower, but not that much slower. My vertical pretty much stayed the same throughout the whole program. I managed to lose weight, I managed to lose body fat, and my speed drastically improved, like drastically. I managed to break the 4-second barrier. I was pretty much about half a second off. So given all of that, the potential for progress in this program, I would have to give it I'll give it a 9 out of 10. So when you look at all the scores from all 5 categories, you do the average, you see that I have rated the speed code at an 8.6 out of 10. This program is really good. I think it's my favorite PJF program by far, because although I'm also, working on speed is the main goal, but I think that the vertical gains are there. And also it's weird because he listed that this shouldn't be a conditioning program. But, I was doing this program when I was in an off season. So I was trying to get back into shape for a new season. And it personally helped me so much for the new season. I led the league in rebounding. I was averaging a double-double in the league. I feel like it was really good for my conditioning and just general overall athleticism. And it gave me the confidence to get back to dunking again. So yeah, this program was great, to be honest. So I hope that this review is really helpful for you. If you are going to jump on the speed code, let me know how you find it. And if there's anything you feel like should have been included, should have not, then let me know. But obviously, remember to check out the training vlogs. I'll say it one more time. But until next time, stay blessed.